Hi guys, in this video I will be presenting on profit modeling and break-even analysis. First, let's come up with profit modeling. Profit modeling is a plan created by the organization to achieve the target that is to make the business profitable. It contains different information such as how sales will be generated and all the expenses incurred. Here is an example of how to calculate the total manufacturing cost, which is the combination of fixed costs and variable costs. To calculate the variable cost, you multiply the variable cost per unit by the quantity required. Now let's move to the second part of the video, which is break-even analysis. Break-even point is a point at which total revenue equals total costs or expenses. At this point, there is no profit or loss, or in other words, you break even. The formula to calculate the break-even point in units is total fixed cost divided by the selling price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. This method has some typical benefits. First, it helps by offering smart pricing strategies which can assist the business to cover fixed costs and make profit. Second, it is very useful to the cost control. When break-even analysis can help identify the trends in the business cost, especially variable costs. Finally, by conducting break-even analysis, you can determine the quantity you have to sell to break even and then make a profit. So now I will apply profit modeling and break-even analysis to solve a real-world problem. This is a case of watches of Switzerland. Watches of Switzerland, a luxury watch retailer based in Europe, was having some problems with its fixed costs such as employees, rent, store opening and closing costs. It was conducting a break-even analysis to find out how many watches it had to sell to break even and to cover its fixed cost. The cost structure of this business is listed as below. Fixed cost £411.2 million, variable cost per unit £3,222, and revenue per unit is £5,000. Here is the diagram illustrates how to calculate profit. Profit is the difference between total revenue and total cost. To calculate total revenue, you multiply the number of units sold by the revenue per unit. The total cost is the sum of variable cost and fixed cost. The total variable cost is calculated by multiplying variable cost per unit by number of units sold. I already put all the cost information on this spreadsheet. Now let's try to calculate the profit. For example, if we got 10,000 units here, the total cost should be number of units multiplied by the variable cost per unit plus fixed cost and the total revenue, number of units multiplied by revenue per unit, and the profit, you take the total revenue minus the total cost, you got the profit here. Now let's assess the sensitivity of profit to demand. I will create a random list of demand ranging from 20,000 to 60,000 in increments of 20,000. And the next column is profit. Now we will use the data table function to illustrate the sensitivity of profit to demand. You select all these demand, go to the ribbon, File Data, What If Analysis, and click on Data Table. On the column Input cell, you choose number of units, which is cell C9, and click OK. You can see that when the demand increases by 20,000 units, the profit also increases by around 36 million, which is not really sensitive. And also, the business experiences a loss until they got 240,000 orders. And to determine the number of units that makes the company break even, we would use the go-seek function to calculate. Get to the ribbon again, File Data, click on that, move to the right hand side, still What If Analysis, but this time choose go-seek. Break-even means profit equals to 0. So here we set the cell profit, which is C15 to value 0 by changing cell C9, which is the number of units. Then click OK. You can see that the company will break even when they can sell around 231,000 watches. Now let's come up with the second problem, which is Tom's Pizza restaurant. Here is the cost structure of this restaurant. Fixed cost $2,000, variable cost per unit $4, revenue per unit is $10. Now I will choose a random number of units. It can be 200. And to find the total cost, you take the number of units multiplied by variable cost per unit plus fixed cost. Here you go. And for the total revenue, you take the number of units multiplied by revenue per unit, and you got the total revenue. Profit is total revenue minus total cost. So here, with 200 pizzas with $10 each, Tom's Pizza restaurant illustrates a loss of $800. But in this case, his target is just 200 pizzas, and he wants to break even with that number of pizzas. So what price should he change to achieve that goal? Let's come up with the goal seek function to find the results. Go to data, what if analysis, and go seek. But here you set the sell profit to 0. In this case, the cell that needs to be changed, not the number of units, it is the revenue per unit or the selling price per unit. Click on that and OK. So you can see here, to break even with 200 pizzas, Tom need to increase his selling price per unit to $14. That was the end of my video. Thank you guys for watching.